The goal of SpaceX has always been to make humanity an interplanetary species, and they're making great progress, right? Wrong. Although SpaceX has made more progress than practically all government space agencies combined, unless Elon can figure out a way to speed up our rate of innovation, he's definitely going to be dead by the time we get to Mars.
So I'm just would like to not be dead by the time we go to Mars. That's my aspiration here.
And one of the biggest things standing in the way of SpaceX right now is money. Right now, their entire business model is centered around launching payloads into space, whether that be satellites or resupply missions to the International Space Station. The problem with that is that there are only so many people around the world that want to send stuff up into space.
But the revenue potential of launching satellites, servicing the space station and whatnot, that's, taps out around $3 billion a year.
Which is a lot of money, but it's a far cry from Elon's estimated $100 billion to $10 trillion that's needed to build an all-out city on Mars. So Elon needs some kind of cash cow, some kind of side business that integrates with what SpaceX is already doing that doesn't necessarily align with getting to Mars, but will provide the kind of money needed to fund their main goal. Enter third world internet. An untapped industry that Elon estimates could bring in roughly $30 to $50 billion in revenue per year, potentially more than double that of NASA's annual budget, something that, if he's successful, can not only speed up the rate of innovation to get to Mars, but might also inadvertently spark the next internet gold rush. This video was sponsored by Skillshare. The first 500 people who click the link in the video description will get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium with access to over 25,000 classes in business, entrepreneurship, and tech. Make the most out of all your newfound free time with the link below.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In mid-2019, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched off carrying 60 mini satellites.
And there is that live view. So you can see on your screen the satellites are slowly separating away from the second stage, and over the next few weeks they will distance themselves from each other and eventually use their onboard ion thrusters to make their way to their final orbit.
A little later on the ground, this is what people saw. These are the first 60 satellites that are a part of their plan for a mega constellation of 1,800 satellites all in low Earth orbit, beaming down high-speed internet to the people that need it the most. The internet is arguably one of the most impactful inventions of all time, transforming every single aspect of our modern day lives, but not for the other half of the world. By 2018, half of humanity's population, around 3.4 billion people at the time, still have not experienced the golden age of information. These 3.4 billion people are Elon's customers. They are the untapped gold mine of opportunity that no one has been able to reach thus far. The majority of these people live in less than developed areas where a lot of the time they don't have access to basic infrastructure, not to mention digital infrastructure. And current telecom companies probably aren't going to be doing much about it, being that the current approach of tunneling wires in the ground or using slow high Earth orbit satellites is far too expensive for it to make any business sense whatsoever. And unless someone tries something new, it could possibly take generations for the other half of the population to experience all the benefits of being online. That is where Starlink comes in. Since there will be 1,800 satellites orbiting the skies wherever you are in the world, as long as you have Starlink's pizza box receiver plugged in and pointed to the sky, you'll have internet access that's fast enough to even play competitive video games. No tunneling wires, no worrying about existing infrastructure on the ground. The only qualification someone needs to be able to access internet is if they live on the planet. And the way this works in a nutshell is if you're in the US trying to connect to something over the internet in, let's say, China, your Starlink receiver on the ground will connect to the nearest satellite orbiting above you. That satellite will then shoot a laser to the next closest satellite in the direction of China, and it will continue this game of connecting the dots until it reaches the closest satellite orbiting above the area in China that you're trying to connect to. That satellite will then transmit your data to the ground, and then boom, you just sent data over the internet via a bunch of mini satellites. And if the connection in China would like to send data back to you, the data will follow a similar path connecting the dots through the array of satellites until it reaches back to you. Since the satellites are moving pretty quickly, if they get out of range while trying to establish your connection, it will switch to the next satellite orbiting in the array. The benefit to this compared to something like traditional satellite internet from current telecom companies is that their satellites are a lot bigger and orbit way higher than Starlink satellites. This not only makes it too expensive to deploy a large number of satellites, but since it's so high above the ground, the time it takes to transmit data to and from the ground takes way too long, which equates to infuriatingly slow internet. So Starlink is kinda taking the best of both worlds, the speed of on-the-ground internet and the flexibility to reach far-off places that comes with satellite internet. And with this system alone, Starlink could single-handedly bring in half of the world into the modern economy. At first, Starlink is estimated to cost around $80 per month plus around $100 to $300 for the receiver, which is definitely still too expensive for people in less than developed nations. That's why Starlink will be taking a familiar approach, similar to what Tesla did in the early days, targeting a more affluent demographic first. If you're a telecom company, where are you going to invest your money to provide internet? Far off areas where there's less people per square mile, or densely populated cities? Obviously cities, because for the same amount of money, you get way more money back in return. And that's why less than developed nations aren't the only ones starving for fast internet. People that live away from major metropolitan areas can afford fast internet, but they're the hardest ones for telecom companies to reach. And much like how the first Tesla Roadster targeted the wealthy first before eventually getting to the affordable Model 3, before Starlink is able to serve the ones that need internet the most, it has to not go bankrupt.
So you're focusing on making it work first?
Not bankrupt.
Right, and not gonna...
We just want to be in the not bankrupt category, that's our goal.
And that means starting with customers that can afford it and then scaling down the costs as they go. And with the FCC already approving Starlink for a total of 12,000 satellites on top of their current goal of 1,800, slowly but surely the rest of humanity will be brought online. Starlink is in a good position right now. At the time of recording this video, they just launched another 60 satellites into orbit just a few days ago, bringing the current total to 360 satellites.
The satellites are being produced at a rate now faster than we can launch them. And the cost of the satellite has dropped below the cost of transporting it to orbit. And the cost of that satellite will keep coming down as we ramp up rates and make design improvements.
And that's the biggest bottleneck they're running into right now, trying to launch more of them into orbit at the same time to bring down the transport cost. At their current rate of around 1 Starlink launch per month, it will take them around another 2 years to get all 1,800 into orbit. Elon is hoping that they'll be able to solve that problem as soon as their next generation rocket Starship is up and running. But that doesn't mean you'll have to wait until all 1,800 come online before potentially using Starlink as your internet provider, as they'll start offering service to the northern US and Canada by late 2020. And as more satellites come online, the more customers they'll be able to service, with the goal of near global coverage of the populated world by early 2021. By 1997, owning a computer went from a far-off luxury to a necessity, and the age of information was born, with plenty of money to follow. And I predict if Starlink is successful, when the rest of the world starts getting online, not only will Elon be able to get to Mars faster, but he will have inadvertently created a similar boom, a second internet gold rush, if you will. Think about it, that'll be 3.75 billion more people with money to spend online, double the amount of eyeballs to serve ads to, double the amount of people who will want an online education, double the amount of eyeballs to watch videos on YouTube, 3.75 billion more people that will need specialized startups that cater to their unique needs as they transition deeper into the modern economy. Basically, whatever products and services are available online today, there'll be practically double the amount of people that could potentially use your service. And this new demographic will have plenty of new problems for entrepreneurs to solve. Or in other words, there's probably going to be a lot more new money to be made. But here's the thing, all these future opportunities coming up, the next potential internet gold rush, all the business opportunities that comes with going to space and Mars will simply escape our fingers if we don't dramatically improve our rate of innovation. And to improve your rate of innovation, you need to start building up your repertoire of skills and knowledge, and a great place to start doing that is with Skillshare. The first 500 people who click the link in the description will get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium. And with all this newfound free time you have, wink wink, you can take advantage of this great online learning community where for less than $10 a month, you get access to over 25,000 classes from experts and creators to gain the knowledge you need to profit from all these new opportunities coming in, which includes classes on business, entrepreneurship, technology, engineering, and a lot more. Without self-education, Elon Musk would not be where he is today. Elon's entire empire is built on self-education. He started building rockets by reading textbooks on the subject on his own time. And that's why I love sponsors like Skillshare. They support channels like this that promote self-education, and they make learning on your own so foolproof. So be a part of that first 500 to claim your 2 free months below and support the brands that help make this channel possible. Welcome to the Watch to the End Club, and if you've made it this far, you might as well just smash that subscribe button below because I make video essays like this on the most provocative stuff in the world of business every single week just for you guys, and it's free. So click that red subscribe button and turn on the notification bell too. If you want to support this channel financially, check out Skillshare. These sponsors really do help make this channel possible. You can follow me on Instagram at jaketrend.io. If you made it this far in the video, you are like my true supporter, so thank you so much. You've been awesome. I've been Jake. I'll see you guys in the next one.